You know the feeling. Summer hits, long days, road trips, and bam, that familiar pain at the pump. It happens every single year. The temperature goes up, and so do gas prices. We all see it, we all grumble about it, but you know, the real story behind it is this wild mix of chemistry, government rules, and a kind of hidden industry practice that's actually costing you money. So, let's get into it.
So what's the deal? I mean, why does gas always cost more in the summer? The easy answer, the one everyone gives, is, oh, it's the summer driving season. You know, more people on vacation, higher demand, simple supply and demand, right? Well, yeah, that's part of it. But it's not the whole story. Honestly, it's not even close.
The real reason is actually this fascinating combination of, believe it or not, chemistry and environmental regulations. And on top of that, there's a little-known industry trick that costs all of us billions. Here's the thing. The fuel you pump into your car is actually a different formula depending on the season. And that difference, it comes with a very, very real price tag.
Okay, so let's start with gasoline's secret identity. And I'm not kidding. The gas you buy in June is literally not the same stuff you buy in January. To deal with the crazy temperature swings from season to season, refineries actually have to cook up two totally different blends of fuel. So you've got your winter blend gas, which is made to be more volatile, and what that means is it evaporates more easily, which is exactly what you need to get your car started on a freezing cold morning. But then there's the summer blend, and it's designed to be the complete opposite. It's way less volatile. And this isn't just some random choice. It's absolutely crucial for keeping your car running right and for protecting the environment when the heat is on. Now here's a surprising little twist for you. Even though you're paying more for that summer gas, it actually packs a little more of a punch. We're talking about 1.7% more energy per gallon. So I guess you can think of it as a tiny silver lining to those higher prices at the pump. Okay, so why all the fuss about different blends? Well, it all boils down to two things: heat and pressure. Just imagine for a second what happens if you leave a can of soda in a hot car. It gets ready to pop, right? That's pretty much the exact problem we're trying to stop from happening inside your car's fuel tank. The key scientific term for this is something called Reid vapor pressure, or just RVP for short. All you really need to know is it's basically a score that tells you how easily fuel evaporates, how quickly it turns from a liquid into a gas. So a high RVP means it's super volatile and evaporates really easily, especially when things heat up. And that RVP number is a huge deal. See, way back in 1989, the EPA stepped in and started regulating this stuff. Why? It's pretty simple, actually. When gasoline evaporates, it creates ground-level ozone, which is a fancy way of saying smog. So to fight that, during the hottest part of the year, that's June 1st to September 15th, there's a federal law that says gas has to have a lower RVP. And in places that already have bad air quality, those rules are even tougher. So it's not just about smog. There's also a really frustrating mechanical problem that the wrong kind of fuel can cause in the summer. It's called vapor lock. And trust me, it's exactly what it sounds like. Your fuel turns into a gas before it gets to the engine, and that can leave you stranded on the side of the road. Let me break down how that works, because it's pretty wild. First, the summer heat literally makes the gasoline boil inside your fuel line. This creates bubbles, right? A big blockage of gas vapor. Now here's the problem. Your fuel pump is built to move liquid, not air. Think about trying to drink something through a straw when there's a giant air bubble in the middle. You get nothing. That's exactly what happens to your engine. The fuel flow just stops, and the engine stalls out. All right, so now we know why we need this special, less volatile summer fuel. It's to protect the environment and keep our cars from stalling. But why does it have to cost more? Well, this is where the chemistry starts to hit you directly in the wallet. It really all comes down to one cheap ingredient: butane. See, to make winter gas ignite easily in the cold, refiners mix in a bunch of butane. It's super cheap, but it's also incredibly volatile. We're talking an RVP of 52. So for the summer blend, they have to take most of that cheap butane out and replace it with more expensive, more stable additives. And guess who pays for that upgrade? Yep, that increased cost gets passed right on to us. And it doesn't even stop there. On top of the expensive ingredients, extreme heat can actually force refineries to slow down or even shut down parts of their operation, which puts a big strain on supply. Then you throw in global stuff like OPEC deciding to cut production, and of course you still have that classic summer vacation demand. It all adds up to a perfect storm for higher gas prices. But wait, there's one more layer to this whole thing, and it's something most of us never even hear about. It's a concept called hot fuel. And this quote from a House Subcommittee report really says it all. The oil industry has known for 100 years that gasoline expands with temperature. And what they do with that knowledge, well, it might just surprise you.
And what it reveals is a pretty stunning double standard. Check this out. When oil companies sell massive amounts of fuel to each other, at the wholesale level, they correct the volume to what it would be at a standard 60 degrees Fahrenheit. This makes sure everyone's trading the same amount of actual energy. But when they sell that exact same fuel to you at the gas station, poof, that temperature correction just vanishes.
So what does that actually mean for you and me? It's simple. When gas gets hot, it expands. It takes up more space. That means a gallon of hot gas has less actual fuel in it and less energy than a gallon of cold gas. But you're paying for the expanded volume, not the energy content. You pay for a gallon, but you're not getting a full gallon's worth of power.
So how much does this little discrepancy cost us? Well, according to that same report, this so-called hot fuel premium cost American drivers, get this, an estimated $1.5 billion in just one summer. That is the hidden price of heat.
Now look, this intense summer heat doesn't just mess with your fuel, it puts a massive strain on your entire vehicle. Overheating is easily one of the biggest dangers for any machine in the summertime, whether it's your family car or a giant piece of construction equipment.
I mean, the heat really takes a toll on pretty much everything. Your cooling system gets pushed to the absolute brink. Your engine oil and coolant, they can break down way faster, and that leaves critical parts unprotected. The air in your tires expands, which seriously increases the risk of a blowout, and even your battery is taking a beating because heat speeds up the chemical reactions that make it die.
So what can you actually do about all this?
Well, the key is just being proactive with your maintenance. It's the simple stuff, really. Check your coolants and other fluids a little more often than you normally would. Keep a close eye on your tire pressure. Take a second to clean your battery terminals, and make sure your air filters aren't all clogged up with gunk. Seriously, these simple little checks can save you from a huge, expensive breakdown on the side of a blazing hot road. And all of this brings us right back to that final nagging question. We know the gas is different in the summer, we know the price is higher, and we know the heat takes a toll on our cars. But the next time you pull up to the pump on a hot day, it's really worth asking yourself, when you pump that gallon of hot gas, are you really getting everything you just paid for?